Welcome to Deep Dive. Today, we're immersing ourselves in a book that's basically been a cultural fire alarm for, 75 years now? George Orwell's 1984. It hit the shelves 75 years ago this June, and honestly, its ideas feel more relevant than ever. So, our mission today isn't just to recap the plot. We want to really unpack the specific, chilling ways Orwell showed totalitarian control working, and figure out why this book keeps surging onto bestseller lists whenever things feel politically shaky. Like, remember January 2017?
Oh, yeah, the whole alternative facts thing. Sales just exploded.
Exactly. It becomes this sort of political barometer.
And, to really get the book's weight, you had to think about when he wrote it. This wasn't just sci-fi speculation for Orwell. It was a direct warning, drawing straight from the horrors of Stalin's Russia and Nazi Germany, the breakdown after World War II, and crucially, his own experiences in the Spanish Civil War. He saw totalitarianism up close.
Right, so he wasn't just imagining things.
Not at all. He wanted to show the world, very starkly, what happens when the state tries to control everything, even your inner life.
And that world he built, Oceania. It's instantly recognizable, isn't it? So bleak, run-down, Big Brother staring from every poster. But the real terror, I think, isn't just the poverty, it's the psychological stuff. And that starts with the telescreen, right?
Absolutely. The telescreen is key.
Yeah.
And pretty radical for 1949. It's not just a speaker blasting propaganda or even just a camera. It's both at the same time. It sends messages out, but it also takes information in. Constantly.
Orwell really detailed that, didn't he?
He did. He wrote, any sound that Winston made above the level of a very low whisper would be picked up by it. Moreover, so long as he remained within the field of vision, he could be seen as well as heard. It's total sensory invasion.
And that dual function, that's what creates the constant, just crushing psychological weight. Because you don't know if someone's actually watching at any given second.
Exactly.
But the possibility forces you to act like you are. Always. It's brilliant in a terrifying way. Maximum control, minimum effort for the party.
That's it. Your own uncertainty becomes the cage. Winston's thoughts capture it perfectly. He thinks there was, of course, no way of knowing whether you were being watched at any given moment.
Yeah.
It was even conceivable that they watched everybody all the time. That constant guessing game is the terror.
And if you slip up,
Ah,
if your face betrays a wrong thought.
that's where the thought police come in.
Right.
They're not just looking for rebels planting bombs, they're hunting thought crime.
Just thinking the wrong thing is the crime. That's a huge leap, isn't it, into controlling the mind itself.
It really is. It basically criminalizes being human. A nervous twitch, an anxious look, Orwell calls it an unconscious look of anxiety. That could be enough. Signal you're not conforming internally.
So you have to fake it all the time.
Constantly, even when you're alone. You have to maintain this perfect facade of loving the party because your own body might betray you. It's terrifying.
Okay, so they start with watching you, making you paranoid. But the party knew that wasn't quite enough for total control. They had to control the tools of thinking. Which brings us to Newspeak. This is where it gets really insidious, I think.
Definitely. Newspeak is fascinating and horrifying. It's language engineered to shrink the world of thought, not just to communicate party ideas, but to make other ideas literally impossible to form.
Like that character Symes says, the one working on the dictionary.
Right, Symes spells it out. He says, don't you see that the whole aim of Newspeak is to narrow the range of thought? Quote, in the end, we shall make thought crime literally impossible because there will be no words in which to express it. It's cognitive amputation.
Wow. So it's not just censorship of what you say now, it's about limiting what future generations can even think. If the word free only means, like, this dog is free of lice, how do you even begin to conceptualize political freedom?
You can't. It removes the building blocks for those abstract concepts. But language control, even that's not the whole picture. The party also needed to control memory, history itself. And that's the job of the Ministry of Truth, where Winston works.
And they're not just, hiding inconvenient facts. They're actively rewriting everything all the time.
Exactly. It's an industrial-scale lie factory, constantly updating old newspapers, records, speeches, so that every single prediction the party ever made could be shown by documentary evidence to have been correct.
Making the party infallible, perfect, always right.
Precisely. Which leads to that core slogan, the bedrock of their power. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past.
That's just chilling. If the party controls every document, every record,
then their version of reality is the only one that exists. They erase collective memory, erase the possibility of dissent having ever existed.
it's a completely manufactured reality.
And all these things, the telescreen paranoia, the newspeak handcuffs, the Ministry of Truth's memory holes, they all feed into the ultimate mind control technique. Doublethink.
Doublethink. That one really gets me. It's not just lying. It's something else.
It really is the pinnacle of psychological manipulation. It's not just hypocrisy. It's a required mental state.
Yeah.
Orwell defines it as to know and not to know, to be conscious of complete truthfulness while telling carefully constructed lies, to hold simultaneously two opinions which canceled out, knowing them to be contradictory and believing in both of them. You have to force your mind to accept opposites.
And actively believe both contradictory things at the same time? The mental gymnastics must be shattering.
Utterly. It destroys critical thinking from the inside out.
How else could you possibly accept slogans like war is peace or freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength?
Those slogans are the daily practice of doublethink. You repeat them, you accept them, and your ability to reason just erodes. And this control, as you said, it reaches into everything, even love and family.
Right, because personal relationships, private loyalties, those are threats to the party's total claim on you.
Exactly. Winston and Julia's affair isn't just romance. Orwell calls it a political act.
Because it's loyalty outside the party.
Precisely. The party has to control that intimate space too, which is why their fate, being forced to betray each other, that's the final, crushing proof that the party's psychological weapons can break even the deepest human bonds.
Okay, so let's jump forward. 75 years later. How does this 1949 vision of tyranny map onto our world today? It's often called this apocalyptical codex, but things are different now, right? Digital, not just analog.
The relevance is definitely there, but the form of the threat has shifted. Orwell's telescreen was pure state coercion, watching for rebellion, today's surveillance. Well, think about the Snowden revelations about the NSA. That's partly political, sure. But a huge amount of it is commercial. It's about predicting your behavior to sell you things. We carry the surveillance devices willingly in our pockets.
Our smartphones, yeah. And smart speakers at home.
Exactly. The scale of data mining is way beyond what Orwell probably imagined. It's not just one big brother. It's thousands of corporate little brothers constantly analyzing us. Privacy just gets chipped away.
That's a really important point. It's not just the government, it's business too. So if the telescreen maps to our phones and cameras, then the Ministry of Truth. That feels like the flood of disinformation and fake news we deal with now.
Absolutely. The ministry's constant reality bending feels very familiar. The difference is speed and personalization. In 1984, everyone got the same lie from the party. Today, the lies, the disinformation, can be tailored specifically to you based on your data.
Which leads straight to the modern psychological tool of the social media algorithm.
Tracking what you click, what you watch, and feeding you more of the same. It creates these echo chambers.
It's like a personalized Ministry of Truth feed.
Or maybe a personalized newspeak. Instead of removing words from the dictionary, the algorithm removed alternative viewpoints from your feed. The result's similar, isn't it? It narrows your range of thought, makes it harder to encounter challenging ideas.
If you never see the facts or arguments needed to think critically about something...
It's almost as effective as if the words themselves were banned.
And now we have AI deepfakes thrown into the mix. That feels like a whole new level of reality distortion.
It really does. If you can create perfectly convincing fake video or audio, what happens to trust? What happens to evidence? In 1984, Winston knew the party was lying, even if he couldn't prove it. Deepfakes threaten the very idea of objective reality in a way that makes the party's clumsy methods look primitive. Power can just deny reality even more easily.
It's powerful stuff, though there's that irony, right? The term Orwellian gets thrown around so much.
Yeah, it's become this floating signifier, as some sources say. Used by everyone, left, right, center, sometimes for totally different things. It can mean anything, so sometimes it means nothing.
Which is why it's good to drill down like we are.
Exactly. We need to be clear. When we talk about Orwellian today, in the 21st century, it really boils down to three key things, all linked. 1, the denial of objective truth. 2, the deliberate manipulation of language to control thought. And 3, the rise of a surveillance society, whether state or corporate, that diminishes freedom.
That makes sense. And the sources really emphasize that the lasting power of 1984 comes from Orwell's deep belief in language, that language is the foundation for everything else.
For truth, for contracts, for freedom, yeah.
The book remains this pertinent warning about what happens when that foundation crumbles. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. Think about this. People read 1984 Behind the Iron Curtain, and it gave them hope, knowing someone understood their reality. But what's the value of just understanding the truth today? When the power to manipulate reality itself through algorithms, deepfakes, targeted disinformation, when that power seems stronger than ever, what do we actually do with that knowledge?